Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and I'm back with another kind of review. I'm starting to look at the Japanese super heavy line, and it starts way down at tier 2 with the Igo/Chiro. And there's not a great deal to say about the tier 2 tanks, to be honest, with regards to tactics and things like that. You quite often don't get a chance to use them in a tier 2 match because they're normally over quite quickly, but we'll have a quick look at the basic numbers. So 200 hit points. This is fully upgraded, by the way. These do update as you upgrade the vehicle. So 200 hit points, 120 horsepower engine, 25 km/h speed limit, so it's not the fastest down at tier 2. 45-degree traverse, which isn't bad. Armour 17 on the front, 15 on the sides and rear, and 15 all around the turret. Turret traverse of 28, and with the gun I've got fitted, it's a rate of fire of 26.9 and a 320 meter view range, which is pretty average for down at tier 2, to be honest. So basically you have the same gun all the way through the tier 2. It does change from the Type 90 to the Type 97, and it's the 5.7 centimeter gun. You do get an upgraded turret, but I believe, yeah, both turrets are 15 all around. You just get an increase to traverse speed and a slight increase to view range as well. The gun stats, well, the damage stays exactly the same for all of the guns, pen and damage, but what happens is your aiming time and your accuracy both get better, and you get a slightly faster rate of fire with the top turret on, which is 26.09 as opposed to 24 rounds a minute. Now, me personally, with this gun, because the penetration on the armor piercing rounds is 30 with 75 damage, on your premium it's 55 and 75 damage, but on your HE it's 28, so you only lose 2 pen but you gain an extra 20 damage. So I carry a lot of HE with it and tend to mostly fire HE. You do have heat as your premium rounds, so I've got a few of those just in case. And you can see I've got a lot of AP, but I just tend to stick to the HE in this one. Now, like I say, there's not a great deal to talk about. I mean, you've got the big engine block which takes up the back half of the tank. Gun tracks with a massive gap through the middle, but with the armour, you know, if you're fairly close, to be honest, you're going to pen it no matter where you hit it. Occasionally you get the odd lucky bounce, but not really, to be honest, in this. In fact, no, I might be getting mistaken there. It might be the next one that had the odd lucky bounce in, but no. With the armour on this, you're not really going to be relying on it. At range, obviously, it'll bounce a few shots because the armour penetration drops off, but you've got your ammunition up in the corners there, which seems to be a usual place, really, for the Japanese ones. They seem to be in the front corners of the hull. 4 crew members crammed straight into, well, crammed right in there at the front, really. So they're all squashed together, so you hit the front of the tank, chances are you're going to pen, you're going to hit a crew member, or you're going to hit your ammo rack, something like that. 2.3 second aiming time, and if we go back, it has a 9.35 horsepower per ton power ratio, which isn't brilliant, so it is a bit slow and sluggish, this one. 12 km/h top speed. Armour is pretty much the whole story. You've just got that all the way around. So yeah, not a particularly well armoured little machine, but I've had some good fun in it. That gun does pack a punch. Now, there's not really much else I can say about the tier 2. I don't normally review them this far down, and like I say, the matches, they tend to be over quite quickly, and you don't tend to have time for tactics in them. But I would say, as a safe bet, probably try and stay at medium range and just use that gun, and if you miss the odd round, it's not long before you've got another one loaded in, and you do carry a lot of ammunition. And like I say, if you hit, chances are you can take off around half the health of a tier 2, especially if you're using the HE. But enough talking about this one. I've got a quick replay for you just to show you sort of what you can expect from it, and then we'll have a quick talk about the tier 3, the Type 91. Right, so here we are on Himmelsdorf, and it's a tier 2 match. It's not a particularly full match, and it's a standard battle. And while this is playing through, just a couple of things I want to go over. One, this is possibly going to be the start of a new series to go alongside, obviously, the reviews and random destruction, and yeah, moving on up, the Japanese heavies. and it's going to be a slightly different format to what this video is. I did change my mind since I did the garage part of this video, and it was going to be a review, but I think what I'm going to do now is what I normally do for say a review of something. When it's fully upgraded, I've got a few games in it, and I'll go out and specifically try to get footage for the review. And it's like I say, the tank is normally fully upgraded if it's a tech tree tank. Whereas with this one, you won't get a full review of the tank in the video. It'll just be a brief look at it, maybe a few of the basic stats, that sort of thing. But the videos that I'll be doing, the matches that I'll be doing, will be, you know, as I progress through that tank. So instead of them all being with the tank fully upgraded, there'll be games where it's stock. And then as I get the next upgrade package, I'll maybe do another video of that one with that upgrade pack on, that sort of thing. So the format will be different to this, and like I said, I did change my mind as to what this video is going to be after I'd recorded the garage bit. But I'm going to have to get some proper editing software and get editing on the PC rather than the PS4 as I do now. Now, this one, to do one of the tanks, it would have been a very short video, and to do both of them, it's ended up slightly longer than I actually wanted it to, but it's still not too bad. And as you can see, this little gun does pack a punch. And I didn't actually do that many matches in this. I think I had 2 matches in it, and then I got enough XP to fully upgrade it and move on to the next one. And the Type 91, I didn't have too many matches in that, but I've got one with the 7cm, I think it is, and one with the 47mm. So just to give you an idea of what you can expect from these. As you'll find, you don't tend to spend much time in tier 2 or tier 3 before you're moving on to the next tier. So obviously the next video in the line will be the Type 95 with the stock gun and the first upgrade pack, and then obviously the OI experimental, again stock gun, first upgrade, etc, etc, until we get to tier 10. Now the other thing, I was actually looking at him to say thank you, and I went really derpy with the controls and just yeah, I don't know what was happening then. But yeah, the other thing I want to say is I received an email today from a company claiming to be an official partner of Wargaming, stating that because I'd uploaded a video to YouTube to do with World of Tanks, that they would offer me free gold for World of Tanks for getting other people to download apps and various other little bits and bobs and things like that, and that they wanted to give me a 50% advance into my PayPal, etc, and to, you know, to get back in touch with them. Now, something smelt a bit fishy about that email, so I decided to contact Wargaming support with regards to it, and one of the administrators got back in touch with me and said to not give them any information, and that it looks more like a scam, they know nothing about it, and they are going to investigate it and basically let me know what to find. So but the general consensus was don't give them any information or contact with, you know, collaborate with them or anything. Now that company was called Free4Game, the word free, the number 4, and then the word game. So if anybody out there, you know, that's watching are YouTubers, or they occasionally upload videos to YouTube, and if they get an email from that company, the advice from Wargaming is that they are not an official partner of theirs, and to not give them any information. So I just thought I'd let you guys know about that, just in case you receive the same email. So this is the match about over, and that T1E6 over there just peppered me with rounds. A few penetrated, a few didn't. The next lot were a lot better aimed and really just finished me off, but then we cap out for the win. And like I say, I think I had one more game in it and that was it. I was out of it. It was over. But not a bad little round for a tier 2. Like I say, it's not a bad little tank actually. It does pack a punch in that gun, definitely. But I would recommend slinging high explosive, which I think I was doing as well, because they've got almost as much pen and they do more damage, so it's well worth it. Now it's back to the garage for the Type 91. Right, so here we are with the Type 91, the tier 3, and again Well, no, sorry, not again. This one is actually classed as a heavy, and that makes it the lowest tier heavy currently in the game. You do get a bit of an armor increase, and we'll have a look at that in a sec, but you do have a choice of 2 different guns. Something I did forget to mention before with the Igo and the Chi-Ro is that it does only play up to tier 3, which seems to be the usual case for tier 2s. But let's have a quick look at the basic stats of the Type 91. So, again, it's fully upgraded, 250 hit points, 250 horsepower engine, 25 km/h speed limit, so again not particularly fast. A bit slower on the traverse at 32 degrees. Armour is slightly improved on the front, but please don't rely on it, you'll be very disappointed. With 20mm, 15 on the sides and rear, and again the turret is 20mm all round, which from what I've seen seems to be the usual case with the Japanese heavies, although I could be wrong on that one. Rate of fire with the top gun of 28.57 rounds a minute, and turret traverse of 30 degrees a second, and a 330 view range. Again, signal range 425, which is quite average for down at the low tiers. They don't tend to have a particularly good signal range. So let's have a quick look at the packages. Well, you start off with a 7cm gun Type 94, and that is the first upgraded gun as well. You've got 30 penetration on your armor piercing with 100 damage, 90 on your premium, again 100 damage, and 35 on your HE with 160, and it's got a rate of fire of 15 rounds a minute. Aiming time 2.6 seconds, 4.8 accuracy, so not particularly accurate, not a brilliant aiming time either. Now, with the 7cm gun, I fired almost exclusively high explosive because you've got higher pen and higher damage, so why you would fire armor piercing, I don't know. It also comes with, I think when you put that one on, it's actually got a higher quantity of HE already loaded in. Now, you can then, if you want, move on to a 47mm gun, which behaves quite differently for the Japanese guns, but obviously it'll be familiar from some of the other tank lines as well. 28.57 rounds a minute, like I mentioned, 81 pen on your standard ammunition with 70 damage, 122 on your premium with again 70. But this time your armor piercing, with it being a smaller caliber, your armor piercing, your HE with it being a smaller caliber, is a lot lower at 25 and 90 damage. 2.10 second aiming time, 0.4 accuracy, which seems to be the norm for down at tier 3. And again, the armour, don't rely on it. This is the one that I've had the odd lucky bounce in, generally at medium range. But this gun has got a very, very good rate of fire. So again, I would tend to stick more to medium range and basically just punish things with your colossal rate of fire, because it can really spit some lead down range. Quick look at the modules. Well, you've got a 12.6 horsepower per ton ratio, which is a bit better, so it does power it along a little bit quicker. It struggles up the hills. Massive engine block, not at the back of the tank though. It's towards the back, but more in the middle, but it is huge. You would have to try very hard to miss that if you're aiming towards the back of the tank. 13 kilometers in reverse. You've got the gun where we'd expect it, obviously. Again, large gaps in the tracks, which makes them quite easy to get through on these lower tier ones, but with the 15mm of armour, generally you can aim where you want, unless you hit a funny angle. You're generally going to penetrate, although I have had some success side scraping in this down at tier 3, so that's something to bear in mind. Radio just popped in the turret there at the front, and ammunition, 2 great big blocks in the side of the tank, so you basically aim for somewhere between there and the back of the tank. You're probably going to hit the ammunition or the turret. Now, the crew aren't in it at the minute because I've put them into another tank, but at least we can see where they are. You've got the 2 in the turret, you've got 1 guy in the little turret at the front, you've got the driver just next to him, and, which surprised me, you have somebody sat in the rear turret. So if you hit the rear of this tank in the middle, chances are you're going to take out a crew member. I don't know which crew member that is, but we'll be able to find out when somebody slams one into the back of my turret. I've not actually had that one knocked out yet, because I'm normally getting shot in the front or the sides, so I couldn't tell you who that crew member actually is. Armour wise, it's a similar story to the tier 2, pretty much the same all over, apart from you can see the gun mantle removes, that is a bit thicker. I mean, I say pretty much same all over, 20 on the front, but seeing as this range is 1 to 20, it just shows it as the same. And then 31 to 50 is just a small strip around your gun mantle, and people would have to be very unlucky to hit you there, and you would have to be extremely lucky to be hit there. It's possibly one of the only places down at this tier where you... No, in fact I wouldn't even say you guarantee a bounce on it, to be honest. But again, it's quite flat on the front. You have a very shallow angle on your upper plate, and then it's a lot of flat surfaces. I have angled this, like I say, and bounced the odd shot. Something you do have to be wary of on this one though, not so much, press the wrong button, not so much on this one because it doesn't have the front turret, and not so much on the tier 4 because the front turret is smaller, but that front turret does get in the way of your gun depression, so do be aware of that. You have quite good gun depression on these tanks, on these Japanese ones, at least the early tiers, but you do have to be careful of that front turret because you can aim down quite a lot on this side, you can aim down quite a lot on this side, but you can't aim down over that turret, and in fact as you move over it, it actually pushes your gun up slightly, so do be aware of that. You do have to angle this properly to get the best out of your gun depression. I don't have those stats at the minute because these haven't been included in the companion app, which gives me the gun depression and gun elevation stats, so I do apologise for that, but I'll try and bring them to you in later videos. Now again, I've got a couple of replays for you, one using the 7cm gun and one using the 47mm gun, so you can just get an idea of how this handles. And depending on how long that one takes, we may leave it there, or I may talk to you about the tier 3 as well, but we'll have to see, and I shall give you a definite answer during the actual replays. Right, so here we are, Type 91, not as many in the game as I actually thought. I thought I'd see a lot more than this. It's mines, it's standard battle, and it's in the rain. And again, the whole purpose of this series is just to show you my games as I'm going through it, really, as opposed to going out in that tank and, you know, getting the footage for the review. These are going to be some of my sort of average games, so you're going to see me really sucking in a brand new stock tank that I've never driven before, probably more than once. But for now, it's not a bad game. It's, in fact, it was quite a pleasant, sort of pleasant game, this one. I don't know, I wasn't really, I'll be honest, I wasn't really expecting much from this tank when I was looking at the gun, but then again, I've been at the high tiers for a while and not really been down at tier 3, playing in the normal tech tree tanks at tier 3 for a while. So when I was looking at the penetration, I was a bit underwhelmed, but then I think I've misjudged, definitely, and I did have quite a bit of fun in this tank. Now again, don't rely on the armour because it's not particularly good. You can angle it and you can get the odd bounce, definitely not from tank destroyers though, you've got to be careful of them. And yeah, I've had a bit of success side scraping in it. But yeah, with my reviews, I'll basically say I'm going to do a review of the OI Experimental, which has just popped into me because I've been playing that a bit today. I'd basically go in the OI Experimental and I'd play a few games in it and keep the best ones, that sort of thing. But these are just my daily grinds, which are sort of some of the random destruction as well. That's when I'm just doing my daily grinds, either my my daily wins, my daily doubles, or I'm just grinding through a tank to get to the next one, or I'm just grinding out some premiums to get some silver, that sort of thing. And if I have a decent game or something that's entertaining, it goes in a random destruction. And I don't know if I mentioned it in yesterday's video. I know it's a bit out of place in this video, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank you to all my subscribers. I was up to about 570, I think, at my last count, or when I last checked, which is absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's just fantastic. I can't believe it. So thanks to you guys. And I am still working on that competition, so don't worry, I won't forget about that. Right, I've been hanging about a little bit at the back over here. And I'm going to see if I can do something about this locust. Now, I don't think he'll have much trouble penning my armour, to be fair. Oh, took a hit from something there. Put a nice hit on the front of the Locust and actually set him on fire, which is a bonus. Reload and slap him with another high explosive. But I stayed a bit too long in that spot. Definitely longer than I was welcome. And took quite a bit of damage from it. Yeah, I'm about dead. 21 health. I think, yeah, T127. We all know how tough those little buggers are. And this is the one that I did warn you about, the gun depression on it. You've got to be very careful of that front turret. If anything's below you, you've got to try and angle your tank properly so you can get your gun down to see it. Now hit that T127. Can I just get... Nope. I cannot just get one more hit. So that's me done for, and I think we'll skip to the end on that one. So, not too savage for a daily double. Down at tier 3, 1800, 552 damage done, and came second on the board. And I think that one was actually my very first game in that tank. And I think that was completely stock, because you keep the same gun until you get the 47mm, and then you can change it if you want. So, I don't know, I think I preferred that gun on it if I remember rightly. But anyway, we've got the next replay coming up for you now, and it is the Type 91 with the 47mm gun. Right, so we're on Dragon Ridge, standard battle, and it's a tier 4 match. So not top tier this time. A couple of Type 95s on the other team. But this, like I say, is with the 47mm gun, and personally, I think I preferred it with the 7cm, the more howitzer type gun. I know the penetration's a bit lower, and when you're facing tier 4s and 5s, that can be a bit of an issue, but you can at least blow the tracks off and damage modules at the same time. And the signal, I think, goes a bit funny every now and again during this match. But let's see what we can do, see if we can do some damage. Now, Dragon's Ridge, or Dragon Ridge, is not my favourite map. I prefer it now to what it used to be. But I don't know, there's just still something about it that I'm not overly keen on. So I'm going to keep pushing round and see what I can do up this way. I was actually planning on going down the village and a bit further along, but then I couldn't resist putting a few pot shots at these guys. Now you can see, I mean, the 47mm does have a good rate of fire. You know, it's got decent penetration, it's got alright damage, and it's got a, you know, a really good rate of fire, but I don't know. I think down here sometimes I just prefer dipping about with a howitzer. It can just be more fun. So let's have a look. Another Type 91. That Marder backed off. I think he's got away with it so far. Yeah, he has. See if we can take down the enemy Type 91. And just behind those buildings. But if I can keep knocking them away, if I can't get him, somebody else might. No. And I've got to remember that artillery is in play. And I was painfully aware that I was quite out in the open and not RT safe. Oh, no, no shots on those. I'm not spotted anymore, as far as I'm aware. Oh, M5A1 Stuart snuck round. He's trying to cause a distraction, it looks like. And he's possibly going to go after RT, but let's start putting some shots into him. No, keep missing now. There we go. Got him that time. Not quite enough lead, and there's artillery. Nope. I can't get to him just yet, so I'll start putting some shots at the Panzer 3A. Yeah. Can't speak English now. The Panzer 3A. Oh no, he's disappeared and he was moving, so I'm not even going to try blind shotting at him now. Let's see if we can pick up that M5A1 Stuart again. I thought he'd come up this way, but no, he's gone further round, and he's actually come up the path a little bit further down. And yeah, I am not really trying that hard at this point. Yes, that's why I'm reversing backwards. Yeah, I forgot I did this. But while I'm making a fool of myself, reversing around the battlefield, I'll take this opportunity to ask everybody how they're getting on with the monster op. Has everybody done the first part? Are they part way through it? Just how's that going for everybody? And did you know, also, you know you can get the medals for each of the tanks for completing the various, whichever op I think it is. I'm assuming the way it works is that obviously if you pick the Revenant, you'll get the Revenant medal, that sort of thing. But did you know that if you kill a Gorinich in a battle, you will get the Gorinich medal? So I decided to be nice and friendly today and take my Gorinich out in a few battles and offer myself up as medal fodder. And it was quite fun actually. There did seem to be a spot of kill the Gorinich going on, and there were a couple of matches that I was in where as soon as I was spotted, that was it. I was the absolute focus. Oh, there we go, the match is over. Sorry, I started rambling over it there. But that was the 47mm, and I came second again. Now, I don't know, you guys might feel differently to how I do, but I think I preferred it with the 7cm. I just found it a bit more fun. Anyway, I'll be back again maybe tomorrow with the Type 95, I'm not too sure, but it will be a slightly different format to this series. Obviously, if it's not a particularly popular series, I will either change it or just, you know, try and do something else instead. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and as always, take care out there, and I will catch you next time. See you later.